All right, everybody, what is going on? Need more drums back in Stay Movingsburg for another episode of our public transit series where we are getting so close to knocking out at least all the main forms of public transport. We'll have some fun with some of the other more random and ones that, we don't really use too much, or at least I've never really used in the game. But today, as you can see, we have tons of forms already in the city. We have, trams, trains, metros, you name it, trolley buses per last episode, even taxis. But what we don't have yet is buses. Usually people use them first, and logically it makes sense because they're a pretty cheap and efficient way to get people around. They don't require, any type of new infrastructure. They're just the first form that you unlock and can put in your city, to put it simply. But I decided to save it for kind of for last, just because I wanted to have a little bit more of an opportunity to connect everything up and kind of know where all of the major spots and destinations are going to sit. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what we got going on today. All right, the city is really coming together. I say this every episode. I really enjoy playing in the city. It actually has given me a chance to, play the game for once, rather than just spending, 4 hours making like 2 blocks. I actually have a not super great looking but functional city, and it's been super fun. So if you have seen any of the other videos or want to follow along and see how this all concludes pretty soon, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. This is your friendly reminder to do so. And again, apologies for my voice. I'm still getting over a little cold that I had, for the past week or so. So bear with me here. Just, I'm trying. All right. But yeah, anyway, I'm excited. This is getting pretty cool. And we got a lot of cool things in the works as well. I know I've had some ideas for, some new series coming out pretty soon once this one concludes. I got some ideas for at least one more City Skylines series that I want to get through before City Skylines 2 comes out. Sorry if you've been here since the Percussion days. I think Percussion is pretty much unlikely to be resurrected, I guess I will say, for the time being. It's a little bit, there's so many mods and assets that I used in that save game, and I just kind of wasn't really happy with how things were going. It's a little bit it's gonna take a long time to get everything kind of back in order and to get that save game opened up again, and I really just don't feel like I'm gonna make enough progress to really get that city in a good spot by the time City Skylines 2 comes out. And I'm gonna want to play that game more probably than spend time and building a city that I'm really not super into anymore. So maybe my next, if we get into another series or something pretty soon, I'll kind of pay homage to it in some way, but I don't think it's really gonna come back. So I'm sorry all you guys that really wanted to see it come to fruition. It was my first series, and I think I'm just gonna have to call it. You never know though. We'll see what the future holds if I ever bring it back. I don't know, but for now I think we're just gonna stick with kind of some new things that I got going on that I think will be a little bit more exciting than just your typical detail-oriented city. So anyway, today, like I said, I want to get into the bus networks. Now that this might be a little bit of a longer episode, I'm gonna try to get it all in one. I don't know, maybe I'll split it up over 2. We'll see how it goes. But I want to have, obviously we're gonna have both intercity and intra-city bus networks, so some of our long distance lines that are probably going to connect some of our towns. And ooh, what's this? We got a fire. Oh yeah, that house is burning. Good thing our fire department is efficient. I actually spent some time after the last episode kind of going through and putting down a couple more fire stations and stuff, because I realized that my city services were lacking in some respects. So still got to keep the city functional. But yeah, so you figure we're gonna have some different bus networks, probably some longer distance ones that'll connect like the downtown to maybe this spot over here to this, and then to here and here and here, maybe something like that. And then obviously the ones that are going to run within the city. So, you know, all of our individual lines that'll go around the downtown, around this downtown, through some of the suburbs, you know, but not through all the side streets, but definitely along some of these main roads here just to get people around. Because, you know, you don't want to, buses are noisy and we don't want to cause too much noise pollution for all those people. So yeah, I think that's where we're at right now. I honestly, the best thing that I think to do, the way to handle this is just to get in and start putting down some lines. You know, we already have infrastructure. We don't need to really plan out anything like trolley buses or trams where we have to actually upgrade any of the roads. Maybe we'll do some bus only roads or something, but for now I think we're just gonna leave it at that. Just gonna get building and kind of see where the road takes us, so to speak. No pun intended. That's super cheesy, but my sense of humor amazes me sometimes. Anyway, let's go ahead and just get started. All right, first things first, bus depot. Where is it going? We're gonna figure it out. I could use biofuel buses, but I actually don't really know exactly which kinds of biofuel buses I have available. I know that we have a lot of regular buses available in terms of different styles and different capacities. I'm not sure how much of these we have available, so I think I might just stick with the regular buses for now. Call it a day. And yeah, we do have a lot of bus only roads. I forgot that. You know, I never really spend too much time with these. I kind of just put bus lines on my regular roads and don't really think about bus only roads too much. But it actually might help if we have some main roads that we want to, you know, some main routes that might have a few different networks on them. It might actually help to put some of these down. So we'll revisit that in a minute. But first, let's get this down. And we only need one of these in the city, really. I mean, they have like 100,000 buses or something ridiculous. So you don't even need to put any more than one. It just depends on how close of a proximity you want it to certain areas. And since I'm probably going to stay away from a lot of lines on this side, so I think I'll put it over here, probably by the industry, as you know, you would expect, since it's a little bit noisier. I don't want to put it close to any residential areas or anything like that. So let's just try to find a spot that's a little bit, you know, would be a good fit. And I think maybe right here would be kind of a cool area to put it. And then I can actually change this whole thing into some sort of, you know, just make it into like a area for these buses to go. Because I kind of like having little things like that, you know, little complexes, so to speak. So we can actually just say that this is actually the entire bus garage. And yeah, you know, adding in a couple fences always kind of helps it look a little bit better. So yeah, we'll leave that for now. I think that'll be a cool little, just a little spot. You know, this is where our buses are all going to be parked, and typically there's a lot of buses parked outside too. So I don't think we have any props for that, but if we did, I'd definitely use them. So what I want to do now is just let's start with some intercity lines, or, you know, the ones that are going to be the long distance, kind of taking people to different main, you know, city destinations. Well, I guess different cities, so to speak, or different, you know, parts of town and things like that. So I want to place down, I never really use any of these intercity bus terminals or bus stations, but you know, they're kind of cool because you could actually use them in addition to, you can actually put regular bus stops on them too. So it's like a nice destination for people to get to. And I'm wondering if that might actually be useful somewhere around here. But we actually do have, I actually forgot, we have this massive ferry terminal which also has tons of spots for bus networks as well. So I think I might just kind of keep that as is. And but I do almost sort of want to separate the intercity networks from the regular networks, because I feel like this would just be a lot of traffic coming down in this area, and I don't really want to do that. So let's actually go ahead and pursue the option of placing down one of these intercity bus terminals close to this area, so we can actually kind of break apart, the destinations and not have so much bus traffic in this area. And you know what? I'm actually going to do something a little bit interesting, and I'm going to put one down somewhere over here because I want to, have, like I said, I don't want to have all the bus traffic just funnel into this area right here. And I think putting something over here would be just as good because we have connections to the monorail and to the metro right here. And I know that I think some of this is actually residential, but hopefully we can mitigate any kind of noise pollution and try to, either rezone some of this since we need some more commercial, or we could maybe keep it on this side, because I think, well, some of these are actually residential, but some of these are actually commercial. So either way, let me try to think of a good, final place to put it, but I think we could just make it work wherever we put it over here. So I've actually run into a bit of a problem because it doesn't really fit anywhere, and I might have to play the eminent domain card and actually just demolish something, although I'd kind of hate to do that, but maybe I can get rid of, again, I don't really have too much sentimental attachment to a lot of these areas, mainly because I just kind of zoned it out for quick expansion and didn't really have any other purpose other than zoning it out for quick expansion. So a little bit of reconstruction in my mind is not really out of the question. And I'd like to think that there would have been there's really no nice, we have this whole pedestrian area here and stuff, and we have this museum, but like in this part of the city, in this section of this part of the city, there's really not a ton of just open space. And so I'm wondering if I could reclaim this city block and put the bus terminal here, and then, kind of still have a little bit of a footpaths and things and some trees. And so this is kind of a nice little open area compared to all of these high density buildings. So I think I might actually just go ahead and do that, because again, I'm not super attached to anything in this area. And it appears we do have a clinic here, which I can actually just probably move somewhere else. Yep, that'll work. Plenty of space. That is what I like to see. And what's nice about this too is that we can actually keep it off of the main road. We can actually kind of have, I guess this is a main road as well, but we can have the buses kind of come in here rather than having to turn right off of here, and interfere with the tram traffic. So it can kind of have its own main road here, and I think this will work a little bit better. But yeah, see, now we have all the space to work with, and we can actually put something kind of cool here. So let me see what I got and see if I can make this area a little bit nicer. All right, that worked out pretty well, I gotta say. Got a nice little destination here, this cool little raised plaza, part of the Financial District's DLC. Anyway, now we have a nice little destination for the Intercity buses to go, and that'll drive away some of the traffic from this area. Again, pun intended. Gotta love it. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and make some of these lines now and plan some of this out. So let's see what we're gonna do with that. All right, so now that we have our little Intercity Bus Terminal put down and ready to go, decorated up all nicely, really like it. Let's start making some lines. So I think, these are going to be relatively simple, just kind of hitting some of the big destinations. And I almost wish they had some kind of really, really small, sort of intercity bus stations per se, rather than having just like the stops on the side of the road. It would be nice if they had something kind of like a building that you could place off the road, to have the intercity buses stop there in some of these more distant areas, some of the different towns and suburbs. But for now, we'll just work with what we got. So what I want to do first is run a line kind of out, just out this way. And I'm thinking that I don't really want any intercity buses to stop. I want to stay away from the suburbs. I want to kind of put them more by some of the bigger transit hubs and stuff, and just keep the stops really few and far between so that people can travel quite a long distance. Because for example, we have this long road here where people if say somebody lives over here and they got to work somewhere over here, they got to travel all along this road, and it's very, very inefficient. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of freight trucks, especially a lot of industrial traffic there and everything too. So yeah, let's just go ahead and start laying some of these out. So I'm actually going to put the game on pause while we do this, because it's city's getting a little big, it's getting a little laggy in this downtown area, and especially while I'm recording, it helps to actually be able to see what we're doing. So yeah, so I'm not sure how many lines I'm going to have in total. Probably not going to use all of these, but I'm sure we can also link some of the regular bus lines up to this. So it'll be nice to kind of keep this relatively, not to fill it up completely. But let's start with just a line from here. We'll begin and just kind of bring it around. I'm thinking, I know you're not really supposed to have your lines cross over each other, but sometimes it's almost inevitable, just the way that these are set up. There's probably going to have to be some kind of cross at some point. So we're just going to deal with it. But yeah, so the first one that I want to go to is from this terminal. I want to bring it out. I'm thinking probably by this train station here. That might be a good place to have a stop, because you figure people will come from this suburb, and especially people like got to work around here in the industry. This would be a good place to put a stop. So we'll put one here. And again, I know this is going to loop around, and this is kind of a no-no, but is what it is. We gotta just the one way. I like the one-way street, so I don't really want to get rid of that. So I think that'll be fine. We're not going to have too many buses on here anyway. So I'll have one there, and then I'll probably put another one. I want to say over here, maybe by this more dense area. It might be nice to have a bus stop over here, so that people can, from this kind of little town, can get around pretty easily. So we're going to do that, and then we'll actually have it come. We're going to have a few destinations over here. So one destination that I want to show you guys is actually this. You know what? I might have another bus go over that way, so I'm going to have a shuttle service there. So I'll save that for a minute. So let's go actually over to this suburb. I'm going to put one by the train station here. I think that'll be a good spot for this. So we're going to just plop one down probably right here. I think that might be okay, just to avoid, instead of along this road, since this road's probably pretty busy anyway. Maybe I'll put one over here by the park. That'll be nice. And of course, the buses don't always follow these routes, on the roads. I feel like that's one thing about this game that's kind of frustrating, but it's fine. So yeah, so we'll have people, they could just walk across the park. No big deal, not a long way away. They'll just walk across the park from the train station to get onto the bus. Shouldn't be a problem at all. And then, actually, you know what? I might as well just put it right there. Super convenient. People can get in the station and just sit and wait for the bus. That's fine. That way, if it's raining or something, they don't have to walk. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for this one line. I think I'm just going to bring it back this way for now. All right, so that's our first intercity line, this blue line here that just goes across this way. So we'll leave that for now. And then I want to do a second line that goes mainly between the bigger downtown areas. And I guess that's not really an intercity bus line as much as let's just say it's an express line. I think that'll be a good way to describe it. So we'll have some sort of express line go from here to this station here, and probably just have maybe one stop in between. So it's probably just like right here by the stock exchange. So it's pretty quick. People can get where they need to go without having too many interruptions. So yeah, let's do a second one here. Let's make sure this is correct. Awesome. See, I'm not even going to have it stop in this pedestrian area or anything. Actually, I might just have this go straight to this transit station, because given that it's an intercity bus, this is probably not going to be a super long commute. So we're just going to have it go right there and kind of call it a day. And we'll see how that works. It might not work out the way I want it to, but at least, we can kind of have a quick route to get people from outside of the city into the city and then into the heart of the downtown. And I'm thinking about, one more stop maybe over here, but we'll actually, I might just do it anyway. That wouldn't hurt, to be honest. All right, so there's our second not so intercity line. And now for the next one, I want to bring one out over to this Valley District Hawthorne Park area where our trolley buses are at. I think that's going to be a really good spot to get some intercity buses going. That's quite far away, so let's go ahead and set one over there. And I'm just going to drag, probably just going to see if I can go across the highway, which it obviously will. Yeah, so I don't really know what route it's going to take there. It'll take the fastest route. Doesn't really matter. We're going to put this probably right, very close to this stop here. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to put it on it, but I definitely want to put it close to it. Yeah, let's just put it there. That should be fine. And then from there, I'll actually make another one at the community college, and then we'll just send it back. All right, now the next line, I want to bring this one to some of these suburbs over here. So we'll have a stop. You know what? We'll bring it to this stop. And then we'll bring it by the train station here in the port. I think that'll make a lot of sense. And we'll probably have this just stop right in front of the port. I think that'll be a good place for that. Eliminate some of the parking on that road too. And then we'll just bring it through the this suburb here. We'll just put it right along. I'd like to put it right along this main road, and then maybe have another bus network kind of go around from the train station. But actually, since it is an intercity bus and this is kind of a bigger destination point, I think I'll probably just put it right across from the train station. I think that'll be good. And then we will, trying to think if I want to do stop at the airport or leave that for a separate kind of airport shuttle. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that for later. So let's leave that for later. Let's just go to Cozy Square. This will be a great spot to put another one, since this town's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You know, relatively speaking, compared to some of these other places. And I think that's it for that one. So let's just go ahead and send this one back the way we came. All right, and that's our next line. And I think that's going to be pretty much it for those. The only other one that I want to make is I want to make one more kind of from Cozy Square and just loop around this part of the I guess you can call it the bay. Yeah, that is like what it is. It's a big bay, but it's a bay nonetheless. And then just kind of have it link up with this line over here, kind of by this community college area. So I think I'm gonna do that just as a quick route, you know, from there to there. That makes sense to me. And the reason that I put the stop here is because I think I might upgrade some of these homes, maybe turn them into some high density or something like that, because this might turn out to be a little bit busier road. And I didn't really want to put one right here on the main road, and I didn't really want to put one, actually I probably could have put it there, to be honest, but they're still going to have to drive and loop around, so I think I'm just going to leave it there for now. And so anyway, so yeah, so I think that's pretty good right now for the intercity lines. So let me go ahead and just, you know, press play a little bit, and then we'll start adjusting them and, you know, choosing some of the capacities and the different buses and everything for these lines. So let's check back in a minute. All right, and while those are kind of sorting themselves out, I actually I ended up setting the capacities a little bit differently, and actually I reduced the number of vehicles on a lot of the lines, and we'll check again later and see if they're running at, you know, capacity, or any of them are really crazy. And then I changed some of the buses accordingly. So this one's a little bit more of a higher capacity bus. There's a few more people on this line. This one not so much. This one not so much as well. So we'll see how these go. But for now, I'll just let them kind of run, and we'll check back with that later. But for now, what I want to do is, before we get into the real kind of short distance lines, some of the more local lines. I want to make a few kind of express lines to some of the major destinations, just, real quick. Not a lot of stops, just to take people kind of to some of the bigger points in the city. So the first one that I want to do is I want to make a line from this train station to the national park. I have made a national park. I like it a lot. It's got a lot of trails. It's very cool. This will come in handy later with some other stuff that I have planned. But yeah, I want to start by just making a bus line straight from this train station straight to the national park. And that way people can, who take the Intercity bus can stop and then get on the bus to the park, or people that are coming into this town, to get to the park, don't have to worry about taking some, I don't know, either ride share, taxi, or something. I mean, right now there's literally like no way to get here. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. That's one line complete. So the next one that I want to do, and I'll pause the game again real quick, is I want to make some sort of pretty much just a airport express line, because we have the intercity buses that kind of come around through here. And I wonder if I should actually kind of combine some of these lines and have them go to the airport. But I have a few ideas. So what the first line that I want to do is I want to make one from the airport just to the hotel, just to get people, who come in, they can get a shuttle right through to the hotel. That seems very logical. So we'll do that. And then we have this little bus terminal here that's actually from the, I think it's from the Pedestrians DLC. It's kind of a cool, smaller one. It doesn't have a ton of space, but it'll be more than enough for what we're trying to do with this airport. So for this one, what I want to do is I want to have one line that kind of goes all the way down this main road here and links up with this area here in the downtown, and maybe even like to the Art Institute. But I think the downtown here will be a good spot. So I might have it just go all the way through here, and then have it come, straight back to the airport. And along the way, we'll have it, stop at close to some of these other stops that we have some pretty busy areas. We have some bus stops already that exist, so we'll have some kind of have some overlap with some of those. And then another one I want to have, one that kind of goes through here as well, just to get people, if people need to get to the airport, since they can't really take a train around this way, at least they have some way to get there. So that'll be another line. And then, maybe a fourth one. I'm thinking a fourth one kind of up to this area here. And I know that we already have the intercity buses kind of going through some of these areas, but we don't really have anything right now to the stadium. So maybe a stadium to airport to intercity bus would be a good way to kind of connect all of these systems together. And again, I'm no public transport expert. I'm no urban planner. So I'm just trying to think of how I can get my current infrastructure and everything to overlap so that it'll be pretty easy for people to get, where they need to go, and potentially use some different forms of public transport along the way without having to travel super long distances in between. So yeah, so let's start with these couple of lines here at the airport. It's very local, probably going to use some very low capacity bus for this. And I'll start here, literally just go to the hotel, and then just right back. I know this is probably some crazy loop, but that's actually the quickest way. So fine by me, it'll work. Next line is, we'll do the line this way through here. So we already have a couple of stops in place. I think I'll put this one, doesn't matter, that'll overlap with that stop, and then we'll have it connect up. Since that stop's seems like there's a lot of people waiting there, I'll make a second stop there, just right down the street, so that people can pick up the airport line really quickly. And then I'll also have one of these stops over here along this road as well. And so that's a good way people can get to the airport rather quickly from some of these other suburbs. And yeah, and like I said, the last one that I want to do is I want to make one from the airport to the stadium. I'm thinking for this, I might want to go and put it kind of in here along this way. And again, I know I'm not supposed to have a crossover, but like we might have to just deal with that, because the other place that I want to put it is over here, connected to the Intercity terminal. And then I'm wondering if I want to do one from the airport to here. I think I might, because if people want to go to the national park, the quickest way to get there right now is to take a train all the way around, or just to drive. But if they are coming in and they're tourists, and they probably don't have a car. So I am going to do one more line to this little connection point here. So now people have a way to get to the airport, and also can pick up the national park shuttle from there as well. So I think that's not too bad for now. And oh, I actually forgot, I did want to do one more. I wanted to do one just along this coast here. That's not so much of an intercity, but a little bit more of a local stop, but still a kind of an airport express type line. So let's go ahead and do one last one, and this will actually fill up our terminal, which is going to be something that I don't think I've really ever done. Actually, no, this one might actually need to be outside of the terminal, because it looks like I'm maxed out. I guess I can't put any more in there, so I think I might just have one kind of down here. And this one will probably be one of the more frequently running lines as well, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we'll have it stop over here by the train station, and I could share this stop with this bus line. Actually, I might just do that. That'll be pretty convenient. You know what? I've actually moved those a little bit closer to the ferry line, because right now people kind of got to walk a couple blocks to get over there. But yeah, you know what? Let me actually go back and do that real quick while you know what? Nah, that's fine. People can make the trek. I think they'll live. We'll leave it like that for now. And then I want to have a stop at the university, one at this train station here, and this one I will share this stop for now. Then I'll have one kind of in this downtown area, since I really don't have much going through here at the moment. And then one more final one right here by the big transport spot. And I should have built in some kind of loop. Well, I can actually do it in here. I think that'll be oh, that'll work. Oh wait, that's only a tram road, so actually that won't work. Well, you know what? It can loop through this way, hopefully. So yeah, let's leave it here with this stop, and then we'll just bring it back around. All right, and that's it for now. So let me go ahead and press play, and then I'll kind of spend a second just monitoring these and renaming them and such, and getting them, you know, all fixed up, and then I'll check back with you guys in a second. All right, well, so far a lot of the lines are getting some pretty good use, so I think I'm actually going to call it there today for the episode. I know it would be super long if I actually started to do some of the local lines right now, so I'm actually just going to leave those for the next episode. We'll get a lot of these lines going, you know, to some more of the suburbs, not, you know, too much into these neighborhoods, because obviously we don't want to disturb the peace. But some of them, you know, from some of these bigger transport hubs, kind of branching out a little bit, just to stop here and there to get people, you know, to and from work, things like that. These lines are more to get, you know, bigger quantities of people over some longer distances. So I think we have done a relatively good job. I mean, just in the short amount of time that we've had these, we already have, again, I don't know how they measure this, but, you know, they're getting a lot of use. And I know that especially some of these downtown lines, like I think this one's probably getting, I mean, there's quite a lot of people using these lines. And so once these buses start actually getting, you know, set on the line and start, you know, heading to their stops, we might actually have some pretty busy public transit networks. And these buses are definitely going to help link everything together a little bit. And I know that the lines, you know, when you see them on the map, like for example, you know, they're kind of all over the place, but when you look at actually where the stops are going, and you keep in mind that the buses don't always follow these routes, you know, they're really not that bad. They're pretty direct and straightforward. So I think this should help with some of our traffic congestion, some of our issues. And yeah, you know, I'll just keep the city kind of going until the next episode and see if, you know, anything needs to be changed, and we'll kind of pick up where we left off. But in the meantime, look at, oh my gosh, this is insane. These ferry lines are absolutely ridiculous. I need to do something about this, but hopefully the buses will help out a little bit. I mean, I have no idea. This is just absolute insanity. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Gotta love the vanilla public transport. Nobody ever knows what they're doing. But anyway, hope you guys all have a great week. Go ahead and have fun playing some City Skylines, and or do whatever else, you know, you like spending your time doing. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode. We'll pick up again, finishing up some of our bus network. Have a great week. I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.